I did tell you we were going to have more UHF wireless gear on this channel, and since NAB, I've picked up this, the EWDP ENG kit from Sennheiser, and this, the Deity Theos. And of course, this gives us a chance to revisit the Saramonic K9, which I think is needed now. So then, let's get into this. So when I did my review of the Saramonic K9, I didn't have the Theos in front of me for reference, though I was pretty certain there was some homework being copied here. And now that I have them side by side, yeah. But let's talk about the other differences here in the kits. First up, the EWDP set I have is the ENG one with this, the microphone attachment that makes any mic a wireless mic. It's cheeky, and I absolutely love it. All three units are relatively similar in their extras, with all three offering lav mics, cables for connection, and the camera attachments as well. Oh look, so unique. Huh. Now, Saramonic has a slight edge by including a couple accessories. And the Sennheiser accessories, well, they're just not there, which leads us to the most glaring differences in the kits, and that's the flight cases. The Theos, and for some reason the Saramonic, both have flight cases. The Sennheiser does not. It's just a cardboard box, which is very less than helpful, especially when you're traveling. Big marks for the other two, and one big one against the Sennheiser. And lastly, I do have to mention that the Sennheiser is only a single channel receiver, whereas the Deity and by default the Saramonic are dual channel. That alone might be the deal breaker for you. Okay, so the build quality, and I'm sure you're going to be shocked by this, but it's pretty similar between the Deity and the Saramonic. Now, the biggest difference between them is the screens. The Saramonic has a slightly raised and curved screen that kind of works against it, especially in the light, whereas the Deity has a flat screen. Now, both are reflective, but the Deity has much better visibility, hands down. As for the receivers, when you put the Deity and Saramonic side by side, those similarities just become even more pronounced. One little upgrade that Saramonic introduced was this forward-facing screen so the presenter can see their connection and gain level. It's actually a nice touch for content creators. As for the Sennheiser, it just walks to the beat of its own drum. There's no screen on the transmitters, no real interactions other than the on and off button, as well as a physical mute and sync buttons. Which, by the way, I love that physical mute button. And the receiver is just as different. It does everything just as simply, just differently. I should point out that the screen on the receiver for Sennheiser is flat, although the readout is rather faint in comparison to the Deity. And lastly, the Deity, and I guess by default the Saramonic body packs, both have onboard 32-bit float recording. And shockingly, both have the most annoying spot to put the bloody SD card. If there's one thing you could have changed, Saramonic, the Sennheiser does not have onboard recording on their body packs. However, it is offered on the microphone attachment. And yes, it is 32-bit float as well, though it's kind of weird because it isn't in any of their specs or anywhere on the ENG product page. However, when this launched, they had a whole write-up about it being 32-bit float. So now next up we have the camera attachment. Now this is just flat out one by Sennheiser with their magnetic cheese board. The Deity solution is cool, don't get me wrong, and of course meaning the Saramonic by default as well. But this is just an awesome solution. And finally, the one thing that separates Deity and Saramonic from Sennheiser is the removable antennas. I don't know how important that is to you, but it is what it is. Okay, let's talk syncing. And the Sennheiser wins this hands down. The easiest way to get all the units working together, just hit the sync button on one and then hit it on the other, and you're done. The Deity and Saramonic have that buried in the menus, and I always forget where it is. I think it's under frequency. Next up is the menus. And again, while I really do like the Deity and Saramonic menus, they're actually quite good. The Sennheiser, though, is just far superior. It just works better. This is going to be a personal preference thing. Just keep that in mind, though. Next up, we have file transfer. And this is where the Sennheiser kind of takes its first real big loss. Hey, do you want your files from your latest recording? I'll just plug in the transmitter into your computer and go into the menus, choose the relevant option, then drag and drop onto your computer. Okay, I get it. It's not super straightforward, but it can be easily done. There's no such luck with the only onboard recording option with the Sennheiser. We're stuck in the mid-2000s having to actually pull this out and plug the micro SD into a computer to get access to it. How demeaning. Next up is the accompanying app. And here all three are rather similar in their usefulness. I mean, Sennheiser's was a bit easier to do all the things in recognized devices, but I mean, I didn't need that many more brain cells to do it with the other two. So it's kind of an even split here. But when it comes to upgrading through those apps, let's just say the Saramonic gets thrown out. Both the Deity and the Sennheiser update in-app, a rather painless process in only a couple minutes of your time. The Saramonic is still a manual process. Now, I know it doesn't seem like much, but it is. Sorry, Saramonic. Okay, now we're taking a look at the onboard recording, and this is the Sennheiser onboard recording. This is the only onboard recording that you have with the EWDP is on this mic pack. So what do you think of the onboard recording? Now we have the onboard recording of the Deity Theos, and I just realized I say deity. Do you say deity? Am I going to hear about this in the comments? Also, I love how these things look like tricorders from Star Trek. Anyways, and now we have the Saramonic, and this is being recorded on board. What do you think of Saramonic going between onboard as well as what's going through my camera? What do you think? Which one do you like better? Again, all the settings are the same across the board. Which one do you like better? This one being the Saramonic. Let me know down below. Okay, so the first decision here is easy. The Saramonic loses horribly. It doesn't sound horrible. The noise, though, is worse than everyone else. And the copy job just kind of kills me. Again, you expect companies to take concepts and designs from each other, but there's a line. As for the final two contestants, well, this goes both ways. Dual channel for the Theos, single for the Sennheiser. It's an awesome ENG setup with the Sennheiser. Awesome built-in onboard recording for the Theos. But there's one thing that sways it for me. A whole set with the flight case. That is hard to ignore for the Theos. As for the noise, yes, Sennheiser is lower, though it isn't by a wide margin, and a passive denoiser, and honestly, no one's going to be able to tell the difference. So I do think it comes down to this. Do you need this? Or maybe you need the dual channel receiver. Perhaps that's what's going to make your decision. Can't imagine you'd be disappointed with either, though. Which one are you a fan of? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys, and thanks for watching.